You showed me how to spread my wings. Yes, I'm the winner of the day. Yes, I'm the winner, yeah. 'Cause I'm the winner, yeah.
Welcome to episode 3 of Tune In 10, a weekly LinkedIn live show where we go live for approximately 10 minutes every Tuesday at 10 a.m. Central with the purpose of resetting our energy so we can rock our day, our week, our year, our life, the world. I'm your host, Brian Miller, and today our theme is LoveSwell. And I recently hosted an ecstatic dance journey focused on this same topic. You can actually access the playlist at museandmethod.com/Sundays. And it was an incredible journey. And what we focused on was how we create unconditional love for ourselves. It's a lot to ask, actually, from other people that they love us unconditionally. We seem to think it isn't. We have this whole story painted around it that our friends and our families and our parents and society should love us unconditionally and should accept us unconditionally. And honestly, that's just really hard. We're all just trying to figure out who we are in the scheme of things. We're trying to handle our own stuff all of the time. It can be so hard just to do that we have very little left over to always constantly be accepting others. And so we need to stop seeking this acceptance, validation, and unconditional love from others. It would be great if we could have it. I'm not saying we shouldn't. And instead, we create it for ourselves. And how do we do that? Well, I'm a big believer in the energy centers within our body and how they actually store patterns that we have developed over the course of our lives. And for example, the root center, which is located right at the base of your spine, right where your sit bones are, that center is the foundation to everything. We often think about the heart as being the center for love. And yes, it magnetizes love and it allows us to shine and pour it out into the world with compassion and empathy. But I believe the real source of unconditional love that lives inside of us is actually found in the root center. And the root center is really where we get our sense of safety, our foundational sense of security, home, belonging, and therefore, I believe, unconditional love. And so what I want to really take you through today is a guided visualization that will help you check into all of your energy centers first, because each one of them reinforces this idea of love in a slightly different way. But then we're actually going to find the deep, endless well of unconditional love that lives within you, in your root center. And we're actually going to bring it through the entire body and spill it down over our faces like warm water so that unconditional love literally bathes us today. I hope that sounds great, and I hope you'll join me for this simple little visualization. I'm now going to invite you to find your seat, to settle in, to do any micro movements and adjustments that you need to do. Get your feet flat on the floor. Maybe shut your eyes down if that feels okay to you. If not, soften your eyes or look down. Put your eyes down. And start to notice your breath, breathing in and out through the nose. Slow, gentle breaths. And just start to find that inner space within you. I want you to continue to breathe deeply and slowly throughout this process. And what we're going to do now is what I like to call a chakra diagnostic. We are going to look at each of the energy centers that goes from your root like I've described, all the way up through your midline, through your spine, to the crown of your head. And we're simply going to notice each center. And what I want you to notice is, what is the felt sense in this center? And that might not be terminology you're familiar with. Don't try to figure it out. Don't try to define it. Keep breathing here as I want you to just notice what comes through. Allow your subconscious to become conscious and notice what's happening in your body. So tap in right now to that root center, found right there at the base of your spine, right at your sit bones, right where your little butt's meeting the chair that you're sitting on. And breathe into that space. And just take a moment to notice, what does this center feel like to you? You know, the chakra word actually represents the idea of a wheel, a spinning wheel. And so I want you to just visualize what your root chakra, your root center, would look like right now, if you could describe it. What color is it? Is it moving in any way? Does it feel heavy or light? No judgment necessary, no evaluation necessary. This is simply a check and a diagnostic. We're going to move up the center now to what we call the sacral chakra. And this is kind of in the womb area. This is like right around the belly button. This is the center for creativity and passion and creation, sensuality. Just the same, breathing into this center. What do you notice? I've noticed the last few times I've checked in here that this center has just been whirring, like a wheel just turning so fast that you can't even tell it's a wheel anymore. Now we're going to move up to the solar plexus. This is kind of right here underneath your breastbone here, right where your rib cage starts. What is shining here for you? Breathing into this center, what are you noticing? Any colors coming through, movement or stillness, any weight, or any emotions maybe that are coming through for you? And now we'll move up to the heart center. Again, breathing in here. Doing a little check-in. Seeing what's happening in the inner space inside of your body. This is where all of your safety, your love, your belonging, your security, where all of it is created for you. Inside of your body. It is a felt sense that lives inside of your cells. This heart center is for compassion and love, of course, but empathy. Now we move up to the throat center. The throat is our source of truth and self-expression. What are we noticing here? How are we holding our body? Is our neck tilted up? Is it closed down? Are we shielding that center? Is it open to the world? But also, are we noticing any colors? Any movement? What's the felt sense here? And finally, let's move up to the third eye, right here in between the eyebrows in your forehead. And sometimes it's helpful if you actually kind of turn your eyes up and inward right here at this point. The third eye is our source of intuition and wisdom. Sometimes little visual patterns or colors come into the eyes here. Just notice them. And our last chakra here at the top of your head kind of goes over, lays flat on top of your head. I can't put my hand there because of this fun Valentine's headband, but the crown is our seat of consciousness and our connection to everything greater than ourselves. What are we noticing here? Is there a lot of activity? And now I just want you to breathe gently and imagine that as you inhale, you are actually breathing and pulling energy up from your root center all the way up to your crown. And as you exhale, either through the nose or the mouth, whatever's comfortable for you, that energy falls out of the top of your crown and just comes down over your body. Building on that, I now want you to imagine that every inhale, every time you're drawing energy up from that root center, you're actually filling up a tiny little bucket from the well of unconditional love that lives in the core of your being, in your root center. And every little tiny bucket travels all the way up your spine with that inhale until it reaches the crown of your head. And when it reaches the crown of your head and you exhale, this little bucket turns and it spills over, and warm water just simply slides, glides, trickles down your face like you're this ancient stone statue that's covered in moss, and this warm liquid that represents unconditional love is just gliding down the front of you. Every inhale brings up a new bucket from that unending well, and every exhale spills that unconditional love down your body. You should go ahead and continue here for a few more inhales and exhales. I want you to really think about what that feels like to fill up these little buckets full of love. That you have an unconditional source of this inside of you. And what that love feels like when it spills and drips down over your body. This love is accessible, accessible to you anytime. It is always there for you. And whenever you're ready, you can make small little micro movements, recognizing the sounds in the room around you, and maybe gently flickering open your eyes and returning to the world. I've done it again. It's another tune in 15, not 10. I hope you enjoyed this. Thank you so much for joining me. And I really do hope that you see how you connecting to the source of unconditional love that lives inside of you is an access to your own healing. And through your own healing, you can heal the world. Have an amazing week.